All right, very short unit. We're up to 914. We're going to have a test review and then a test as soon as this lesson is done. All right, solving systems using matrix equations. Well, first of all, let's just have a quick review. Solve this just as we would any old day. So I just picked a very simple one because you can see if we just add them right now, it's 3x and 4x is 7x. The two y's cancel, equals 14. So I'm not trying to blow you away with the difficult system. I just want to show you what the answer is and review how to do it. So the 2 would go back, I'll put it in the top. So 3 times 2 plus 2y equals 10. So I'm going to bring that 6 over, so I get 4. Divide by 2, I get 2. So my answer would be 2, 2. Two lines intersect right there. So now is Cramer's rule for a 2 by 2. So who's Cramer? Well, a genius who messed around with numbers and found something that is so fascinating that it works and it's simple. Now you're not going to see much of an advantage in Cramer's rule for a 2 by 2 because you saw how simple that was. But just to prove to you that it works, we're going to solve the review problem. So it's 3x plus 2y equals 10. 4x minus 2y equals 4. So the first thing we're going to look at here is this little formula. I hope you can see it. But it says D is A1, B1, A2, B2. What the heck is that? Well, I'm going to make some colors here. D equals, take that coefficient off, off, off. Don't forget that negative there. And you're going to build a 2 by 2, 3, 2, 4, negative 2. All right, well, let's calculate it. So it'll be negative 6, find the determinant, minus 8. That's negative 14. So that's what D is. Now, we're going to find D sub x. Now, I'm going to get out some colors here. So D of x means, watch this, we're going to take the constants and we're going to replace the x column. Remember the 3 and the 4 comes from my x's? So here's my x column, here's my y column. We're going to replace my x column with constants. So 10, 4, which means don't mess with your y's. And then we do the thing, 2 by 2, negative 20 minus 8 is negative 28. Now I want you to take a peek at this little formula right here. It says x is dx over d. Well, what do we find for dx? Negative 28. What do we find for d? Negative 14. What's that answer? 2. What did we find earlier? 2. So again, are you going to use Cramer's rule for this? I doubt it. But I'm proving to you that it works, so then you can trust it on bigger, nastier problems. So now let's find dy. Well, how would we do that? Well, this time, and I've run out of pretty colors, maybe I'm making too much of a mess, but this time I go to my original D, I take my constants, and I replace my y column with these constants. Here's what I mean. X's, the 3, 4, now they stay the same. So if you see that little letter, that's telling you which column to replace with the constants. So that's 10 and 4. So cross multiply, 12. Cross multiply, 40. What's that? Negative 28. Look at this formula. Y is equal to dy over d. So y equals dy over d. So we get negative 28 again over negative 14 because that didn't change, and that's 2. So we got 2, 2. So that Cramer guy was a brilliant man. All right, let me hit pause here. Okay, so now we're up to the Cramer's rule for a 3 by 3. Well, guess what? It's really the same thing as a 2 by 2. There's just more stuff. So you can see that D is equal to this mess, which means everything but your constants. Coefficient, 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 coefficient. That's what D is. So let's find D. Well, there's a little invisible 1 there. Here it comes, 1, 2, negative 1. Negative 2, 4, negative 1. 2, 2, 3. Now, what I'm going to show you is the first one we're going to do by hand, and then we're going to say, hey, okay, take the 1 out, make a line, 4, negative 1, 2, 3. But don't forget, it goes plus, minus, plus. So it's got to be minus 2, make a line, negative 2, negative 1, 2, 3, plus, negative 1, make a line, negative 2, 4, 2, 2. And so now here we go. 12 minus a negative 2 is 14 times 1 is 14. This is negative 6 minus a negative 2, because we've got to multiply that way, which is plus, which is negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. This is negative 2 minus 8, which is negative 10. Negative 10 times negative 1 is 10. So this is 18 plus 4, which is 32. So we got to remember, x is dx over d, y is dy over d, z is dz over d. So we're sticking with Cramer's rule, but this time, to find dx, we got to remember, we're going to build a 3 by 3, but we're going to take our constants and replace our x column. So instead of 1, negative 2, 2, we're going to replace with negative 4, 6, 1. Everything else from here is the same. So 2, negative 1, 4, negative 1, 2, 3. Now what we're going to do this time is use our calculator. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to force you guys to do a few by hand, but I am. How much? I don't know. You're going to have to try to figure me out. But sometimes, you know, on these problems, it's just way easier to just go to our matrix, go over to edit, don't forget to hit enter, build your dimensions, and now hit enter, and now you've got your 3 by 3, and you can just put your information in. And 6, 4, negative 1, enter, 1, 2, 3, enter. Okay, so now we're going to find the determinant. So second quit, don't forget it's determinant A. Once you get a list of them, you might forget. So now I'm going to go second, matrix, math, 1, I want A. And now enter, negative 102. So this would be negative 102. Now look at the formula. X is dx, negative 102, over d, which we said was 32. Something's telling me I screwed up somewhere, and now I'm not happy, but let's check it out. 102 divided by 32. Maybe we do get crazy things, but let me hit pause. All right, this is the benefit of having a calculator. So in this math, and I know all math isn't supposed to be all nice and neat, but I get some crazy decimal there, so it made me wonder, what did I do wrong here? And I looked and I submitted all my information good, so this is correct. Then I went back and looked at my work, and I actually thought, well, rather than go through all my work, I actually typed in my calculator that determinant. I'll show you what I mean. This one right here. And I was waiting for it to tell me it's 32. It didn't. It told me it's 34. So I'm going to take a look at that matrix, and I think it was the second one. So 2, oh boy. Oh yeah. Second matrix, let's go to edit just to take a look at it. I think it's the second one, and there it is. So when I found the determinant of this, I got 34. So that means, either I put information in wrong here, or I put information in wrong here. Maybe this is right, but then I looked at my work, and here it is. Some of you probably noticed it if you're listening. It's negative 4. Right there. I don't know what happened, but negative 4 minus 8, which is negative 12, times this, should have been 12. and that would have given me 34. And now I get negative 102 over 34. Guess what that is? Negative 3. Okay, now, you know, with a class of 27 to 30 little mathematicians, different students are going to do different things from this point on. Student number 1 might look at this and say, hey, I know X, I don't need Cramer's rule anymore. And they're right, because if I put X in here and I put X in here, I would get negative 3 plus 2y minus z equals negative 4. And if I added 3 to both sides, I'd get this. And then put negative 3 here. So then I would get 6 plus 4y minus z equals 6. Subtract 6, I'd get 4y. I'm going to stack it. 4y minus z equals 0. And this is just a simple system of equations that you can now solve. However, because this is Cramer's rule, I'm going to just say, hey, why don't we practice Cramer's rule? See, and that's the lesson. But I can't stop you from doing this. I think this is brilliant. A lot of students prefer this method. But dy, let me show you what it is, and then I'm going to hit pause. So dy is where we take our y column, replace it with our constants. So that means I go back to my original d, my x column stays the same. Now my y column gets replaced with my constants. Why does this work? Well, that is a mystery. And then my z, negative 1, 3. And there we go. Now just so you know, I'm thinking about your homework. They use A's and B's and C's. They also rearrange these things. Just remember to alphabetize them before you go into your matrices and then start working with Cramer's rule. So what I'm going to do is hit pause, figure this out. I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I took dy, and I remember the formula that it is, hold it. Yeah, when you're recording things, you cannot hide the fact that my brain is all over the place. Don't know where that came from. Follow the formula, Cleefish. So, dy, well, y is equal to dy all over d. So, what did we just find for dy? We found that to be 17. What's d? Well, we got 34. So you can see that that reduces to 1/2. I really apologize for that confusion. So now, let's see what we get for dz. So I'm going to set it up right here, dz, then pause. So my x column stays the same, my y column stays the same. Now my z column becomes my constants. That's what that's telling us. So negative 4, 6, 1. I'll be right back. Okay, so using my handy dandy calculator, I found the determinant of A is 68, which in this case is dz. Go to the formula, dz equals dz, which is 68, all over d, which we found is 34, and that's a feel-good moment. So how do you write your answer? Well, technically, this is called a plane, which is like the biggest slice of cheese ever. If you just think of a room like this, or a rectangular box, this is a plane, this is a plane, this is a plane, P-L-A-N-E. They intersect at a three-dimensional point there. And the three-dimensional point that we found is x, where's x? Negative 3, y is 1/2 or 0.5, and then z would be 2. So really you should write it as a coordinate point because that's what's going on. Okay, so this thing says how to solve a system of equation using a graphing calculator. Well, I already did that, so we don't need to go over all this because that's what I was doing the whole time. I did one by hand and then I did a few with the calculator. So I think you're getting good at inputting information for 3x3s. If not, make sure to come see me or watch the video again. Now here comes an interesting problem. It says consider the matrices A, this one, X, this one, B, this one. See, they're throwing variables at you. Don't panic. It says solve for X and Y if A, matrix A times matrix X equals B. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's focus on this, and let's start with 6, -2, 2, 4. And as long as we don't hit the panic button, we'll be okay. We're supposed to multiply it by that. So remember our rules. First row times all the columns. Well, in this case, there's only one column. And that is going to be my, so finished product right here. So 6 times X plus -2 times Y. So that's 6 plus, whoops, 6X, come on, eraser, 6X minus 2Y. I know your brain is telling you that's two things. It's not. It's one thing. So remember, this times this plus this times this. If it was a number, we'd put it right here. Now there's no other columns, so we're done with this row, so we slide down to this one. 2 times X plus 4 times Y, and we're done. AX, A times X, that's our answer. But notice it says equals B. In other words, this equals this. So now your brain needs to just say, well, settle down. This must equal this, and this must equal this. So this is a very strange way to give you system of equations. So we get 6x minus 2y equals -6. I'm looking at that. I can divide that all by 2, so I'm gonna. And then this one right here, I get 2x plus 4y equals 8. Again, I can see we can divide that by 2. So x plus 2y equals 8. Now, honestly, you can use Cramer's rule, but we're just going to hammer this out like we've always been doing. I'm going to multiply this by 2 and eliminate the y's. So 6x minus 2y equals -6. So then we add these together, and we get 7x equals 2. Yeah, my math instincts went off again. When I divided that by 2, I didn't divide that by 2. And it's not that you can't get weird numbers, because we're still gonna. There was just something that just didn't feel right. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, so now we're going to add these together and get 7x, cancel, and that'd be -2. So x equals -2/7. Okay, now that we know that x is -2/7, we're going to find y. How? I'm going to plug it in, I don't know, maybe this one right here because it looks the easiest. So x, which is -2/7, plus 2y equals 4. Now I got to add 2/7 to this side, cancel, add 2/7. Now I'm going to make this 28/7, and I got some space up here, so I'm going to use it. 2y equals 30/7. Now a lot of students would divide both sides by 2 and they get confused over here. So I'm going to multiply by 1/2, and I can see those cancel. So I get 15/7. There's my y, there's my x. That's it, you guys. Good luck on your assignment. I think you're ready.